You guys probably have heard about the 50-year-old Brian Thompson, who is the CEO or was the CEO of United Healthcare, being gunned down in broad daylight at 6:45 a.m. this morning. This is December 4th, right? 6:45 a.m. People are up. People are getting ready to go to work. So there's got to be a load of people witnessing this. All right, got that happening, and he's coming out of Hilton, and the police are now saying that this was an attack that was actually coordinated, premeditated. They already are saying that because this person was laying in wait for him to come out of the building. The gunman escaped on an electric bike. I want you to take a look at the image of this gunman. So what I want to point out is that he's wearing black tennis shoes. He's got a backpack, which in my opinion, the backpack was to carry whatever he was using, his gun, whatever, and possibly even a change of clothes. He fled on foot before disappearing into Central Park. If you've never been to New York, Central Park is quite vast and an easy place to just blend in, camouflage, and disappear. An agenda to find this person. This person's on the loose. And I think that's what most people are concerned about selfishly is this person seems unhinged. Obviously this is a concern for the community. Here's my thing. I know that there's tons of stuff coming out already talking about all the dealings. We'll watch this video.
Thing, right? This just happened in the midst of United Healthcare being probed by the Department of Justice. Now, it's interesting because the DOJ also sued to block the company's acquisition of home health and health provider Amedisys. And Thompson was actually accused of being aware of the DOJ probe, naming Thompson and others and accusing them of unlawful practices and not telling investors before he unloaded over 31% of his stock, unloading $12 million worth of shares, with Thompson actually being the biggest insider seller. And in July, 150 protesters actually gathered outside of their headquarters in Minnesota, and they were with the People's Action Institute campaign group, with campaigners writing a pretty expressive letter to UHD CEO Andrew Whitty, saying specifically that UHD's profiteering by denying care is a disgrace. And United Healthcare was also accused of using AI to deny claims, specifically 1% of the days projected by the algorithm. And former employees actually said that they were forced to abide by this rule, or face discipline or even termination of their roles, regardless if the extra days were covered under Medicare coverage rules. And there's a lot more included in this investigation.
That Beauty Mark on TikTok posted about it. And you guys tell me what you think about basically all the allegations he's making here of United Healthcare having all these different scandals, because this is an important part of why a lot of people are already spreading these theories that possibly Brian Thompson was involved in something sketchy, and maybe this is some sort of fake your own death kind of scenario. I mean, you never put anything past rich people, people who are wealthy of this status. This gentleman, Brian Thompson, had several leadership roles in United Healthcare. He was appointed the CEO in 2021. He used to work for Cigna. He's been in this field, this scummy field, if you ask me, because industry is a scummy field. You got a lot of people suffering because of insurance companies. I don't think a lot of people are going to feel the sympathy and warmth that they think this is. I think more people are just interested in what happened. It's just like we saw earlier this year. Was it Cash App? I don't remember. Some CEO just being gunned down in San Francisco or killed at nighttime with video surveillance. And what came of that? I think a lot of the CEOs out there, the rich billionaires and millionaires out there, better watch their back. I'm not saying they should do anything to these people, but I truly believe this is more some disgruntled work, possibly bad business dealings. He is indeed deceased, and that is indeed his body, because like I said, you can't put anything past NYPD. Police agencies, we've seen just from the Diddy case, are so shady that can you trust any of the things? Like, they'll cover up stuff if you pay them, in my opinion. But think about it, right? The high cost of premiums, out-of-pocket expenses, your deductibles, all the copays that we pay out our asses because of guys like Brian Thompson that probably has millions in the bank and lots of investments and is just making money hand over fist, just denying claims for people who are losing their life, right? Losing their life because they've been denied healthcare that they pay for. Unless you're on some sort of government funded healthcare, you are paying out the ass as a working individual for healthcare in this country. So to some extent, I mean, I was like, okay, I consider myself empathetic. I certainly don't wish anything like this ever to happen, even to my worst enemy. I mean, what do you want the public to do with this information? And the thing about it is, you notice how it's like splashed all over the news. It is the #1 trending headline today. breaking news, Brian Thompson gunned down. And I think it's only because there's some level of shock and disbelief. But in this situation, I believe they will catch the suspect. There's way too much surveillance footage. There's way too much details in what the person's wearing. I think he's going to get caught. I'm going to tell you, the cost of healthcare in America has gone up so much. Our healthcare system is broken. Our education system is broken. Our poverty system. Basically, America is broken. And so when I see this attack, I'm thinking the first thing I thought about was, no, I don't think it's a scandal like what this gentleman said in the video about he was being probed by the Department of Justice. And there's lots of those things happen quite often. You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that go to those kind of places first, instead of just looking at, there's a lot of mentally ill people here in the United States. Just look at Trump. Donald Trump has had several attempts on his life. I'm sure others that we don't even hear about in the news because maybe they're attempts that weren't followed through. Maybe the person didn't get close enough. They're not going to come out and tell us every single little person that sent a death threat. I mean, look at our politicians. They send death threats to our politician all the time. In fact, so many of the people that Trump has appointed have had death threats. When you're in a situation like this, where you're a CEO of a company, where you're a person at this level, you're going to have to be walking around with security detail 24/7, in my opinion. I think it might change how a lot of these CEOs go about conducting themselves. They won't just waltz out of the building willy-nilly. They're probably going to have somebody there to help keep an eye out, because my personal feeling is this is just a disgruntled employee or disgruntled person that maybe they lost somebody, but I'm probably going to be wrong. I don't know. It could be some conspiracy theory thing, but the suspect ignored other passerbys and focused solely on Thompson. That seems like to me, somebody who is intent on their target. They're not trying to miss their target, and that's the mind of either a person sent to assassinate somebody, right? Like you're a paid person to assassinate, or a person that's just brazenly don't care. In that situation, like you literally possibly can't care if you got caught. You're just that focused in on getting your target. The motive remains unclear. Thompson's wife, Paulette, revealed that he had recently had threats, but did not know specific details. Basically, I don't know, a lack of coverage. I don't know what that means, but the killing disrupted United Healthcare's conference, which was canceled after its CEO, Andrew Whitty, addressed attendees. So I guess Brian Thompson was headed towards a conference. The company expressed its grief, stating, "Our hearts go out to Brian's family and all who were close to him." Thompson had led United Healthcare, like I said, since April of 2021, and worked there since 2004. That's 20 years. I can't say this name. CEO of 46 Brooklyn remembered him as genuinely thoughtful and respectful guy. The attack coincided with a challenging period for United Healthcare following a major data breach. Like, a data breach is not, come on, guys. Why are they even bringing this up in this article, right? This is what Reuters affecting its Change Healthcare unit. Thompson was also among executives named in a recent lawsuit involving alleged insider trading. Like I showed you the video of Beauty Mark talking about this during an antitrust investigation. Come on, how many CEOs are involved in insider trading? Give me a break. The shocking murder prompted reactions from leaders like Senator Amy Klobuchar, who said, "This is a horrifying and shocking act of violence. My thoughts are with Brian Thompson's family and loved ones." So the police are continuing to look for this suspect that remains at large. Guys, share your comments up below. Let me know what you think of this. And remember, always think for yourself.